Hey there, it's Elizabeth, and welcome back to flip number, oh my goodness, I think it's 67 now, maybe, possibly, I hope so. Okay, you saw this last time. This is my October section of the book. Each of my books, I use altered composition books, and each book holds 2 months, okay? And I usually, at the beginning of the book, I have a section like this, and in the middle of the book, I have a section like this just to denote the different months. And I have my little pocket here that holds some of the stuff that I use within my pages. So let's get started here. Okay, so last time I was sick as a dog. Yep, I was still sick. Now it's been a week. And I spent most of the day just in bed, resting and catching up on 6 pages in my Fibonacci. Yeah, because I had been just sick the whole week, so I hadn't worked in my book. So, and then that afternoon, I also finished printing my labels that I use up here. What I do for those, if you're interested in knowing, I have a template on my word processor. I use Microsoft, and I do have a label template that I use, and I literally go into Google and I type in whatever quotes I want, and I copy and paste them to a template that I have, and then I print them all out at once on labels. Now, you can get labels at, obviously office supply stores, although they are fairly expensive, but you can find them at the dollar store. These up here are clear, which I like because I can color in the background and then stick the label on the top of it. But these labels here I got, they were actually on clearance. So if you're in the office supply store, always go by the clearance rack and see, because those little things are expensive. So I think I got like 5 packs. They were like $2 a piece, and they're usually a lot more than that. So that's the story on those. Then let's see. We were on this day here, we were waiting to see what was going to happen with Matthew. During this time of the year, we are always keeping our eye on the tropics, and a hurricane had popped up down here below the Caribbean, and it was moving toward us. So we were keeping our eye on that. And October 1st, along with Breast Cancer Month, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, is also Dysautonomia Awareness Month. Their ribbon color is blue or turquoise, and I have like a little meme in here each day, and I post these memes on my Facebook, on my personal Facebook, because dysautonomia is the umbrella term for the chronic illness that I have. So I stick these in here every day. I have it's just a little tidbit fact about dysautonomia. This here is a photocopy of an envelope I had made for Happy Mail, and I really like the way it came out. So a lot of times, if something comes out the way that I like it to, or the way that I wanted it to, I will photocopy it and keep it in here in case the next time I send out Happy Mail, if I want to make something similar or whatever the case is, then that's what I do. So I had sent some, what were they? Like magazine clippings and things like that. One of the people that I love to watch here on YouTube is Crafty Hodges. I love her style. She does something called creative journaling, and she makes her journals out of a magazine. And I'm going to try to do something very similar to her. Not for my Fibonacci, but for a different type of journal. So, yes, I'm very inspired by her. And I had been going through, here's another little tip for you as well. This picture right here actually came from Somerset Studio. I love collage. I love cutting and pasting. If it's a regular magazine like a Woman's Day or, whatever, name Vogue, whatever the case is, I usually get my magazines for free at our local library, so I do not mind cutting them up. However, Somerset and those types of magazines, art journaling magazines and things like that, they're so beautiful and they are a little more pricey. So I have a much more difficult time cutting them up. So to remedy that, but to still be able to have these beautiful images in my book, I do tear out the pages, but they come out very nicely. They don't rip or tear or anything like that. They come out very nicely. And then, of course, I keep them all together in the book. But what I do is I simply photocopy it. And that way I still have the original because I just can't bring myself to cut it up. But I can still have the lovely image to put in my book. So that's a little tip for you. If you have books that you like the images of, but you consider them too precious to cut up, then by all means, if you can, photocopy them. So this page is all about Crafty Hodges. I was watching her videos and she's just so inspirational. I just love, love, love her style. So I had decided to put her a little goodie Happy Mail together, and I had put a few photocopies of some images I found that I thought really suited her and her style. I had been in the library a few weeks prior and had gotten a book that just had these lovely images in it that just reminded me of her. And so I cut those out of the book and sent those to her and just sent her a few other things. These right here I had made, oh my gosh, 2 years ago. It's just my handwriting on book text with a thick Sharpie marker, and then I cut around them. So I like doing that little, just a little embellishment, homemade embellishment. And so anyway, that was that day. Then this day here, I didn't have a really great start to the day. My dermatologist called me at 8:45 to let me know that the dodgy spot on my face that I had biopsied a week or two ago, the results did not come back as we had hoped. And I'm going to be having surgery soon. So I won't go too much into detail about that because I really don't know what's going on until I get pathology reports back and all that fun stuff. So this day also, I had to take my son back to the urgent care, and I went ahead and went with him because I was still sick as a dog. So it turned out he ended up having a throat infection. I ended up having a sinus infection. So we got some medication and we were, slowly but surely on the mend. And then Hurricane Matthew was churning at a category 4, and on this particular day, it had moved a bit to the east, so we were, really hoping and praying that we would not be affected by it. And then on this day here, we're here at the bottom tip of Florida, and Matthew was seeing fit to just skirt up the coast. So that was on Tuesday. We were still keeping our eye out for it. So Tuesday, my husband and I went around our house and shuttered up for the anticipation of a storm, and we were keeping an eye on it. And then, let's see, we were all shuttered up at the north house. Yes, the north house. There's my dysautonomia. And then here, I started to feel better, but I wasn't sure if I was feeling better or just getting used to feeling like poop. Story of my life. So, and then this day here, let me see, I'd finished up the video response homeschooling series from our perspective. So, yeah. It was a fun series, and I hope I answered some of your questions about homeschooling and our experiences. I think I must have interviewed my daughter on this day, perhaps. I'm not sure. But I was glad that they, agreed to help me out with that. It was fun to do with them. And then, let's see, on this day here was still the South House prep. Oh, no, I'm sorry, not still. My husband got up early in the morning and went down to go prep our South House. So he went down there early in the morning, put all the shutters up, all that kind of stuff. And we were still keeping our eye on Matthew. And then my checklist for that day was praying, of course, and I had to go to the bank, gas up my truck, make sure there was gas, do up all the laundry, all of this in preparation for the storm, just in case the power went out. There's my dysautonomia awareness thing. And then this down here, funny, not funny, you know, what does it say? I can't even see it. It's too far away. Another day of outward smiles and inward screams. That was my day that day because my surgery had been rescheduled. So I was already anxious about the surgery. And then we had to cancel it because of the hurricane. And I was in the process of waiting another week to have the surgery. So yeah, the anxiety was pretty high. Then this day here, we had an uneventful day. The hurricane did not affect us like we had thought it would, so we were very thankful for that, but also praying for all of those on the eastern seaboard that were preparing and, you know, for the storm and that were going to be affected by it. I think in the end, upwards of Jacksonville and St. Augustine and all those places on the northern eastern coast of Florida were really affected heavily by the storm, as well, of course, as the people in the Caribbean. So we were keeping them in our thoughts and prayers. This day here was back to business as usual. We had, this was on Friday. My husband went back to work like a regular day. My kids were still off school because they had closed the schools here Thursday and Friday due to the storm. That day I had made, painted papers using the shaving cream method, the marbling shaving cream. It was, mixed media morsels number 30 from Cat Hand. I'll link that below. And it was really fun to do. Although I had 2 notes to myself that day, and she had mentioned it in the video. I just didn't realize that my shaving cream was scented. I don't really know if there is such a thing as unscented. I'll have to look and see. Yeah, at first it was great because it just reminded me of that clean smell, you know, when your husband is clean shaven. But when you're in a room for 2 hours doing your painted papers, it can get a little bit overwhelming. And the scent sticks to the paper. So, anywho, yeah, when I do that again, which it was super, super fun, and I love the effect of it. But yeah, I'll have to try it again and do it with unscented. The other thing, too, that was hard for me is that I was standing in order to do it. I'm sure I could probably sit and do it, but it would be just, I don't know, like awkward, I guess. And it's hard for me to stand for long periods of time because of my illness. So, yeah, I wore myself out playing with shaving cream that day. There's my dysautonomia awareness. And then this is a verse here that had been on my mind lately. And then on Saturday, we stayed home. We did not go down to the Keys. So my husband was not feeling good at all. He was in so much pain from shuttering up both houses and all of that because that's just the way it is. And so he was on the couch watching football all day. And while he was watching football, because I don't care to watch football, I was in my room actually working on my Fibonacci. So yeah, usually I don't work on my Fibonacci during the weekend, but I did this weekend. There's my dysautonomia awareness plaque. And, this is a verse again that had been just on my mind, of late. And so, yeah. That's where we are now, and I will leave you there, and I will thank you for sharing your time with me, and I hope you all have a great day and a great week, and I will catch you next time. Thanks.